Good morning, everyone. Can I please see some faces? Good morning. Good morning. We come on here at 11:30 in the 9 o'clock Indian time, and then just wait, because everyone's still sort of crawling into the session. So the first few minutes are just to sort of wait, because otherwise we miss the momentum of anything that started. But I'd love to see your faces so that I know that I'm not only talking to Pala. And well, if it's only Pala and me talking, then we cater the whole conversation as per that, right? Hi, Amrita. Hi, Geeta. Good morning. Very, very good morning. Hello, Manjuji. Okay, Karishma. Okay. Now that we see a few faces, because I do know a lot of you also that log on time and that are very punctual, that are always there. Start the session, let the music play, and sort of finish off a few errands by the time the session gets started. Which is why it's good to see faces here, so we know that you're present, you're here when we're starting off. Firstly, very, very happy Navratri to everyone. Navratri is going on just now, and a lot of people celebrated yesterday as well. Yesterday being so many festivals that were there throughout India. I found this beautiful map because there weren't even all these names that I could remember. Guri Parva, Unagi, so many that were there yesterday that were celebrated, and all of them essentially just marking the beginning of spring, marking the beginning of a new season. And Navratri is something, again, I urge you all today, if you get the time, we will be doing some downloads today. But for those of you that are celebrating, I know so many people that are actually doing the Navratri fasting, whether or not they're Hindu, doesn't matter. So many people that actually observe Navratri fasts or observe all of these things, even as a detox, as a cleanse for themselves. And I mean, we've actually been associated for so long that just today morning I was having a conversation with my mom as to I don't know what to really bring new to everyone, because I think each person, we've spoken about the relevance of Navratri, we've spoken about every form of the goddess that is there, we've spoken about the relevance of each form of the goddess that is there through the so many festivals that we've all celebrated together as a community. So today I urge any of you that are actually maybe doing a physical cleansing, physical fasting, or not that even, to just take the time out during this week if you can, and go through the Navratri playlists that we've actually done before. Because we speak about every form of the goddess that is there. We've actually done downloads for every form of the goddess that is there. We've explained how relevant it is to each of our lives as well. Another point that I would want to draw today, which is other than the different forms of the goddess that are there, why we celebrate the festival that is there, is really the central point. As I see, most of you are women that have joined us today morning. And this is something that's of relevance to everyone, really, is that understanding the divine feminine that each of us holds within us. Honoring that divine feminine, not just on, periodically every 9 days, because Navratri is celebrated multiple times through the year. And at that point, we go and we see so many people that go to the temple, go religiously, pray, fast, do everything that is required, and then come back home and, sort of probably get annoyed that the house is not clean. Why are things not done this way? This was not done. Either it is about somebody else being harsh upon them for so many things not done, or even us being harsh upon ourselves as women. I was seeing a video yesterday that spoke about how through years and years of conditioning, so many times we as women have conditioned ourselves to feel like, we must be the one that actually, sort of prepares the food, serves the food to people, that actually sits down last for the meal. So even when it is not asked of us in this current day and age, where men and women are seen as equal, where men look to take up an equal role as far as parenting is concerned, as far as household work is concerned, where at any point where if we feel like, no, I must do it, or, if we take on any judgment from within, from ourselves or from those around us, if we're inviting any sort of judgment of that sort or passing any judgment, of putting a woman in just that one role where, that she must be the one that must sacrifice and must do things last. Instead of empowering the woman, respecting the woman, bringing up the divine feminine that really is so, so powerful. The feminine that is capable of not just confining herself to one role, but carrying a multitude of roles at any given point in time. Most of these pictures as well that you'll see for Women's Day, for Mother's Day, in general, you'll see a woman who has who's doing household chores at one hand, doing an office, handling an office on the other hand, handling kids, together, doing so many things together. Most people do wear on multiple hats as well. And we tend to glorify that as being a superwoman. But when we stop glorifying it and instead let ourselves relax and appreciate the pace at which we can actually do things. Even from the Stone Age time, women have been actually seen as multitaskers, as nurturers. Men were seen as the more focused being because they had to go hunting, they had to go catch the prey, they had to go get a meal back home for the table. So they needed that sort of focused vision to be able to do that. That sort of focused mind to be able to concentrate on what had to be done, on the target that had to be achieved by the end of the day, because the family's meal depended on it, and achieving that. Women, on the other hand, from the Stone Age time itself, were seen as probably taking care of the house, taking care of the child, cooking, doing multitude of things together. So always having a mind which is constantly running in 24 different directions and still centering as one and still doing all of that. So you might be cooking a meal, but you're taking care of a child at the same time, ensuring that they don't get burned while you're cooking that meal. So now, instead of glorifying this, when we actually come together in our powers as the divine feminine and understand that we are capable, we've been wired in a way that we are capable of a multitude of things. And when we allow our capabilities to come to the rise, when we allow ourselves to see ourselves for all that we are, as opposed to the general sense of criticism that we keep rolling within our heads as to, oh, but I missed this out. Oh, but this couldn't happen. Oh, but the food didn't taste so good for the rest. Then we bring ourselves into power as the true divine feminine that is. A woman, I truly believe, is at the center point of any and every institution in which she is, whether that's a household, whether that's an office, whether that's anywhere at all. We always say empower a woman because by default, even if she does nothing at all, she doesn't need to take that up professionally, she doesn't need to do any of it. But by default, the mindset that the woman comes from, those determine the behavior, the actions that she carries forward. That behavior and action determines the mindset and the mode of the whole house, the whole institute that she's at the center point of. Because when someone's a multitasker, you're running point on a lot of things. And when your mindset begins to revolutionize to being one of gratitude, to being one of shifting limiting beliefs, to being one of acceptance of what a situation is for what it is, to being one of I am empowered and I can change anything that I set my mind to, that is where shift begins to happen. And which is why by our very existence itself, if we start with a mindset that is empowered, not just positive. Positivity is something that we've glorified for a very long time. And it's glorified for good reason, that being when you're positive, things start flowing in that direction. But being empowered is something that we really need to look home at as well, because being positive and optimistic is one thing. But when I'm empowered, I know that I have the power to see that even if something is negative, even if something is not working in my favor, even if something is not right in a given situation in my life, in the situation I may be in, anywhere at all, I am at a point where I can actually accept it for what it is and know that I have the power to change it because I'm empowered. And historically, mythologically, through every sense of the being, through every sense of what it is, you would see that that is what is carried forward as well. If you see goddess Parvati that was there, she always sat as an equal next to Shiva. She was always treated as an equal. She was treated as someone who took equal part in deciding how things were run, in deciding how things were done. You do not see the very goddesses that you worship as confined to one role. You see that goddess as empowered, where when something went wrong, if they said that this evil force is coming upon the Devlok or whatever it was, she was empowered to the form of, okay, I can handle it, of taking on the different goddess forms that were required to not only give birth, but to also create and to destroy, to create equal amounts of destruction as and when required, to defend and to keep secure. And within each of us also lie these different roles of the divine feminine that are there. The role that can not only nurture, but can also defend, can also, can create as much peace as she can create destruction if something is not right, if the equilibrium is not right. The minute we will all come to embrace that very power within us is where transformation begins, not just for you, but for everyone around you. Okay, so that is a simple note that I wanted to share with each and every one of you for this Navratri, being that wherever you are at, whatever point that might be, please take a few minutes just to know and understand that the divine feminine lies within you, that you hold all the power. We are very empowered in our own beings, and as time goes, as situations come and go, of course, life happens to each and every one of us, and there are situations where we feel low, where we feel dull, where we forget we have that power. And that's okay too, because it's a part of our growth structure. It's a part of how we're learning. If we all came into this world going like, wow, I'm going to be amazing, this world, I have the power to do everything, we might have never allowed ourselves to humble down to learn the things that life has to teach us as well. But we've come back to sort of remember the power that we come from. So if that empowerment comes from within and from remembering it, that's great. If that empowerment comes through you learning the tools to require to change it, then so be it. If that empowerment comes through you understanding that I am creating my life, so I have the power to change anything that I put my mind to. Because everything is nothing but a limiting belief that is standing in the way of me shifting it for myself. Because whether you look at history, whether you look at pop culture, whether you look anywhere at all, whether you look at the role that God has bestowed upon us of being able to create life, you will realize that that power inherently is within you. All you need to do is give rise to it. To remember that the power of creation, of creativity as well, is within you. So allow yourself to connect to your creative sources, allow yourself to connect to your power, allow yourself to know that it's safe for you to connect to your power, and to know that it's okay to even express that power. That all of those parts that are empowered as well are you. We connect often to our weaker parts that are there. Those are the ones we're aware of, that we hear repetitively because that's what's on our mind. But remember the strengths that you've come from, not just of recent times, but it could be the strengths that you've had even as a child. So as a child, if you were told, oh, she's just always so happy, she's so full of energy, so bubbly, so creative, speaks so nicely, speaks so well, whatever it is. So many, people have heard those things when they were younger, when they were growing up. And in our stories, we talk about, yes, this is something, when I was younger, everyone used to, keep saying this. I used to do so much masti. I used to do this. I used to do that. And then when you look back at, it today and you wonder where those parts went, so many times as you're growing up, we give away one aspect and element of ourselves because we think that is what's required to fit the situation. But today, if you are in that empowered space, once you learn the tools, allow yourself to reconnect to every element of yourself. That includes the younger you that did lots of masti. Because masti requires a very, very creative mindset. to be able to find an unconventional way to, sort of make the best out of a situation, make it humorous, make it funny. Whether that is a part of you that was very, very energetic, very, very creative, always happy, so beautiful. Any part of you, remember today the parts that you might just reminisce back and think about how you were as a kid, about the parts that you loved about yourself as a kid. Whether that was something only you saw, whether it was something that people saw. And ask yourself today, what would it require for me to reconnect to that part of me? Where is that part of me now? And what would it require for me to reconnect to that part of me? You may remember what or why a few incidents may have happened that you might have just stopped being that way. I'm going to do downloads, and we're going to just simply, if everyone's in agreement, do the, like just sort of do downloads that can maybe initiate the process of those parts sort of coming back to us. Those very, very innocent inner children within us. Because every person would have received different compliments when they were growing up. All very, very catered to who they are and to what their personality is. Our personality shines when we're younger, when we have no inhibitions, when we're simply just being the way that we are. I see my young kids, and the things that they will say will amaze you sometimes. It comes from such a profound place of knowing, such a profound place of knowledge. It's so, so intuitive. They just know what to say, how to say, and when. And it all comes from this pure place of innocence and of being so connected to who they are. And then situationally, they see things and they pick up things and they act to those elements. But when you talk, but whenever any of these, heartfelt compliments come, they mostly come for those parts that we just look at and we go like, oh my God, this person is so adorable, or they're so smart in what they're thinking, or they're so creative in the way that they share things. They're so intuitive in their beings. So allow yourself to reconnect to those parts of yourself, or to reminisce to what those parts of yourself are. Reconnection might be a longer game, because of course there's a reason your mind has let those go, and those are the limiting beliefs or those experiences that have come in the way that have caused you to shift it. Those experiences are something that require professional understanding as to how to shift it. But the intention of reconnecting to those parts of yourself, of accepting those parts of yourself, and not accepting yourself just as the version that you are now, of accepting the divine feminine and the strongest traits that you have, of knowing that these traits are specifically given to you for you to shine with them. That is a right that each one of us have. And those are the downloads that we want to do today. Okay? Anyone have anything to say or add to this? Okay. I also have a little bad throat this morning, so I'm going to be sipping on hot water as we go. The balance of yin and yang is something Anusha has said. Yes, balance of yin and yang is something that is crucial, but that is crucial because when we speak about a balance of yin and yang, that is actually because we all have the masculine and the feminine both as parts within ourselves. As a woman, you might have more of the feminine shining, or as a man, he might have more of the masculine role that he might have to put himself into. But we all have the masculine and the feminine, the yin and the yang that are within us. And the balancing actually helps us to not just stay in the nurturing zone or the emotional zone, but also get to the action part, which is there. So it is about that balancing where you can be all of who you are. So I'm going to approach it today in terms of what we're saying as accepting and being all of who we are. Okay, Anusha? All right. So the reason I asked if anyone had anything to say was essentially to just see if that is something we also wanted to incorporate in what we're doing today. Okay. So I'm just going to connect and do some downloads for everyone here. Okay. And we'll also, if everyone's okay with it, do some downloads for Gudi Parva. So, surprise! So today, when we started the session, the idea actually that was on my mind was talking about Navratri, but just also about Gudi Parva, and just since it's like there's some folk stories that actually talk about one of the reasons it being celebrated is because it's the day that Brahma restarted the universe. Apparently, it would all come to a halt. Time had come to a halt. It's almost like all of the universe was destroyed. And then Brahma restarted the universe on this day. Everyone knows about it being a new season that's starting, the spring, sort of reaping of a fresh crop, the Rabi crop that is there, which is the, story associated with Gudi Parva. Some stories about Gudi Parva actually even talk about it being the day that Ram returned after winning his battle against Ravana. But that I don't know about so much because Diwali talks about the same legend as does Gudi Parva. But what I do take back from it is that in different ways, Gudi Parva, Onagi, whatever festival that you might have celebrated yesterday, it being just the start of a new season. And anytime we talk about new seasons, new growth, when we spoke about colors as well, we spoke about fresh green representing fresh growth, a light green that is there. So I was actually going to ask everyone, if you're thinking of fresh growth within yourself, what are the beliefs that are getting in the way for you to do that? And we're looking at shifting that. Now that we've spoken about Navratri, what I'm going to do is anywhere that there's any downloads that are coming also along the lines of fresh growth, new mindsets, shifting and moving forward in life, just opening a new chapter within our lives as well, to just sort of have that happen smoothly and initiate that in a happy and smooth fashion as well. Okay, so it's just downloads to commemorate the so many festivals that we are celebrating at this given point. All right. So just close your eyes, take in 7 deep breaths, breathing in from your nose, all the positivity, fresh air, fresh growth, joy, happiness, that beautiful energy that spring air brings. And breathe out through your mouth any tiredness, any fatigue, any overthinking, any thoughts that are draining you at this point. Getting yourself ready and in a position to receive. Would each of you like to know that I know and understand the creator of all that is his definition and perspective of the divine feminine, that I know what it feels like, how to, when to, and that it is safe and possible for me to live my daily life, embracing and living as this divine feminine energy that is within me, to know that I am an incarnation of the divine feminine, to know that I am divine, and to know that this divine part within me is allowed to shine as well, to know what it feels like, how to, when to, and that it is safe and possible for me to embrace and accept all parts of my being, all parts of my femininity, all parts of who I am, knowing and understanding the creator of all that is his definition and perspective of embracing and of acceptance from the seventh plane of existence, knowing and understanding that it is safe for me to accept all of who I am. And as I accept all of who I am, it is safe and possible for me to grow from that and to create an empowered self for myself, knowing and understanding the creator of all that is his definition and perspective of empowerment, and knowing what it feels like, how to, when to, and that it is safe and possible for me to be empowered, for me to feel empowered, and for me to live my life in a manner that feels empowered, where I know that I'm empowered, where I know that I am simply my beliefs. And as I choose to shift those limiting beliefs, as I choose to connect to the empowered divine within me, as I choose to connect to all the strengths that I am, to remember my strengths and to stay connected to them through the process, that automatically I rise to my power, and that is safe as well. That I allow myself to be in my true power and to shine for all that I am, to know what it feels like, to create fresh shifts and a fresh mindset for myself, to know what it feels like to embrace all of who I was and all of the positive qualities that I appreciate within my being, to know that it is safe for me to embrace my inner child with love, with gratitude, with safety, providing that my inner child safety and nurturing, providing my my inner child a sense of safety and security. And as I do so, as I allow myself to do so in my entirety, I know what it feels like to reconnect to those parts of mine that I may have given up as I grew up, and I allow myself to connect to those positive parts of mine that spark my soul, that spark my very being and what my true strengths are. It is safe and possible for me to connect to all of my true strengths and to be able to live my life with that knowing, knowledge, empowerment, joy, and acceptance. Knowing and understanding that it is safe for me to shine, knowing and understanding what it feels like to allow my creativity and the sense of creation, the power, the extreme power that I hold, to hold that with discernment and to allow myself to honor that power and to grow with that light within myself, knowing that it is safe and possible for me to shine and to share that light as well. To know and understand the creator of all that is his definition and perspective of balance, and knowing what it feels like, how to, when to. And that it is safe and possible for me to balance masculine and feminine within me, to balance my yin and yang as for my highest best, to live my daily life in this balanced fashion, to know what it feels like, how to, when to, and that it is safe and possible for me to shift and create positive changes, positive mindsets for myself, and to know what it feels like to approach each day as it's a fresh new day, and to allow myself to reconnect to the strengths of the past, and to allow myself to have released the excess baggage that I'm carrying, to reap the crop that has served its purpose, and to allow myself now to plant myself as to where I truly belong in this given moment, whether that be the new projects, new mindsets, new spaces, new relations, new friendships, anything at all, that I know what it feels like to understand the cycle of nature as a beautiful understanding of life, and allowing myself to let go of any dead beliefs, any dead crop that might be there, whether that be any limiting beliefs that are serving me no more, whether that be any limiting people that are serving me no more, whether that be any limiting mindset that is serving me no more, that I can safely, happily, and joyously let that crop go and allow myself to plant new seeds of positivity, joy, and new goals, dreams, and visions for myself, and to know what it feels like to nurture and nourish these new goals, dreams, desires that I have set for myself in my life each day with positivity, safety, security, love, and all that they require. That I know that that is safe and possible for me, and that I know that it is safe and possible for each of us to grow every single day, and to allow myself to take this leap of faith, and to allow myself to plant new seeds for myself, to have clarity of my goals, dreams, and desires, and to create the life that I choose with the empowerment that I hold, to know that I am empowered. Can I download these feelings into each and every one of you, into every cell, atom, molecule of your body, into in all four levels of your belief system, in every area of your life, and in any and every language you may have ever known or understood, for your highest and best, and in your highest and best way. Just say yes to receive the downloads. And as you say yes, I want you each to imagine a beautiful waterfall of refreshing green light, fresh growth, little glint of golden in it, entering through the universe into your space, through your head, through your crown chakra. These beautiful feelings, this beautiful, refreshing green light permeating through every cell, atom, and molecule of your body, just shifting its frequency ever so little as you allow yourself to embrace yourself for all of who you are, as you allow yourself to initiate new growth, as you allow yourself to breathe in, feeling connected to life, feeling the freshness of life and all that life has to offer. As you allow yourself to receive, accept, and truly incorporate each and every one of these feelings as they come to being. Allow this light just gently and smoothly warm your entire space, your entire body. This light glowing forward into your auric space. Such a cool, refreshing light. That just feels so light. It's like fresh wind that's just shifting your mindsets and allowing yourself to be more grounded, more centered in who you are and the empowerment that you hold. Allowing yourself to connect to your divine feminine and allowing yourself to connect to fresh growth, fresh dreams for yourself, for your life. And just feeling this freshness within you and all around you, all around you. Whenever you feel ready, simply come back into this room and with a big, broad smile, open your eyes. So I wish for each one of you to be more connected to nature and the cycles of nature because they show us everything so beautifully. So when we say nature, the cycles of nature, it's also about understanding our true nature and what our strengths are. And just the way nature has this very organic cycle of life, growth, death, of everything that's within it. When we understand that cycle for ourselves and the different phases that we go through and honor each phase that we're going through, that beautifully comes to being as well. Nature doesn't cry over a dead plant or a dead crop. Humans cry over it. Nature, the plants itself do not cry over it because that simply goes back into the soil to nourish it once again. Similarly, if we let any of our dead beliefs, our limiting beliefs that are just doing nothing for us anymore, just phase off, understanding that, okay, they will feed whatever they have to, but let me move forward to a new growth and set new goals for ourselves, dreams, desires, understand ourselves at every phase, not by the labels, not by the stereotypes, not by the understanding that is so redundant that we have of ourselves. Investing in actually understanding who we are, understanding ourselves, what we like, what we desire, what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, what our heart sings for. And then embracing it. Then nurturing it with all our being, just the way nature has its new crops nurtured that way. That nurturing shows in the end result. So just the minute we allow that for ourselves as well, we can feel that freshness that is there. That freshness, that growth can happen for us every day if we so choose. Okay. And what this question will be okay and effective? Yes, of course. Any of the downloads, any of the sessions, please, anytime that any of you require it, go back to it, listen to it again, listen to the whole session, listen to the downloads parts, listen to whatever is required. That's the reason, in fact, Manjusha, I even recommended everyone today that the past sessions that are actually very relevant to the current festival that's on, or in general, anything that's required as effective, because in a given moment, we're only going to sort of connect to the energy of what's required at that time. But each of us individually require different growths at different points. So go back to any sessions that you require, any shifts that you require. Just even if you go on YouTube, those playlists are kept as is. Just connect to it, listen to it, get that boost for yourself, and then move forward with your day. Okay. Wishing you all a great day ahead and a very, very happy Navratri, and wishing you all so much empowerment, so much growth. Look forward to connecting to you next week. Take care. Bye from Team Cesta.